In this video, I'm going to discuss leadership development for women, the unique challenges and their solutions. Hi, I'm Jenny Vasquez Newsom, a leadership facilitator amplifying the expertise of leaders of color and the CEO of Untapped Leaders. This is my YouTube series, Untapped Leadership, where I discuss leadership within the niche of uncovering what's often overlooked from the perspectives of racially marginalized leaders. If you like this topic, please hit the subscribe button. And let's get into today's conversation. Leadership development is important for everyone, but for women as well as other marginalized groups, there are often additional barriers and challenges that need to be addressed. Despite progress in recent years, women continue to be underrepresented in leadership positions across many industries, across the board. That underrepresentation is even more pronounced for women of color. So we've seen women excel in top roles and quote unquote break the glass ceiling to achieve positions, yet we are still very far off from gender parity in these positions and these roles. And we've also seen a lot of women recently in the C-suite electing to leave those positions, which from my perspective is a reaction on giving up on workplaces that are not conducive to accommodating the many roles that women often hold beyond their profession. Or they're giving up on the contradictory expectations on how they should lead or how they should show up and lead authentically, and if they're able to do so. So one challenge for women's leadership development is, of course, unconscious bias, or if I were to highlight it more directly, conscious bias that's masked as unconscious bias. So unconscious bias is the stereotypes and biases that exist within individuals that they often don't realize it. And when we look at women's leadership, these biases can lead to women being overlooked for leadership opportunities because we all might hold preconceived notions of what leadership should look like and sound like, really. And so to address this challenge of bias, again, women and leadership, I'm going to say that, an unconscious bias training is not enough. It's not enough to eradicate bias or resolve the challenges that women face in their trajectory to leadership. It is a need to look at the spaces and places where bias can fester within your organizational structures, looking at performance reviews, looking at hiring practices, promotion practices, how work is assigned, really kind of thinking about how your policies don't allow space and place for women and other marginalized groups to thrive in their leadership in the workplace. And so really a critical step to supporting women's leadership development is to think about the systemic and structural aspects that may be inhibiting their leadership. Another solution is to let women lead, no matter where they are in their organization or what their scope of work is. And by letting them lead, I mean letting them lead in a way that feels resonant and aligned for them, no matter their style or approach. One of the most persistent discussions I've had with women navigating their careers at the executive level or early on is about the challenging reality they face when they're told that they're too assertive or not assertive enough, too quiet or too loud. All of this dependent on the eyes of the beholder. And of course, I'm a big proponent of constructive feedback and the opportunity to develop as a leader. But the data shows that women are often receiving mixed messages of how to show up and how they should show up in their leadership. And that's very taxing to try to navigate. Organizations really need to think about creating inclusive cultures that value the diverse perspectives and approaches of women leaders and leaders from all marginalized identities, so that they can show up and thrive in the way that is most aligned for them. And that is really what develops and cultivates, women's leadership. Organizations should work to create inclusive cultures that value diverse perspectives and experiences and approaches to leadership, where everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. This can be done by ensuring that women are represented in leadership positions, by creating those supportive environments for working mothers or women that are caregivers in their families, and promoting gender equity in the workplace. But ultimately, it's really about listening and responding to the experiences of women navigating their career journeys. Really thinking about and being conscious and proactive to create spaces that allow them to thrive. because at this point, the disparities in representation have gone on for way too long. There's a lot more that we can do. So thank you for listening to this video. If you liked it, please click the subscribe button and the thumbs up. And if there's something you want me to tackle in the next conversation, please do add it to the comments. Thanks again for watching.